Hey there, Nick Barnes here. I've been asked by the lovely Dave Giles to contribute my views of a particular whisky for his amazing Whisky and Things podcast that he runs with Nick Kent. So, hi Dave, hi Nick. Um, the whisky they've asked my thoughts on is Talisker, which comes from the only open distillery on the island of Skye, and I visited the distillery back in 1991, 91, I think it was probably. That was kind of before whiskey was quite as fashionable as it is these days. Anyway, and this is the classic Talisker. This is a litre bottle as it happens, but it's a 10-year-old Talisker, which is what Dave's asked me to comment on. But when he said Talisker, I was put in mind of the fact that these days that covers quite a lot of different whiskies that come from all from the same distillery, and they all have the same basic character, but there are many different expressions of it. And so I kind of rifled through my cupboard, and I got out these are of the opened Taliskers in my cupboard. So I might give all of these a bit of a go. This is Talisker Storm, which I'm not quite sure what's special about that, but Talisker Storm. We've got Talisker Dark Storm, which is apparently matured in charred casks. And then this one, what's this one? Talisker Sky. A compelling Talisker, all smoky sweetness, spicy edge, rich in contrasts. Anyway, so as you can see, I don't have hundreds and hundreds of whiskies in my cupboard. So you can tell from that I'm quite keen on Talisker. It might be my favourite whiskey, or maybe my favourite whiskey is Lagavulin from Islay. Neither of which are my session whiskey. For session whiskey, I go for a Bowmore or maybe what I call Leapfrog, which is the Lefroy, both of which are also from Islay. But Talisker is definitely one of my favourite whiskies. It might partly be because that trip to Skye all those years ago was with my then kind of wild fling girlfriend, subsequently my wife, now my ex-wife, but anyway, and a bunch of friends, really good friends, and we climbed mountains and we drank whiskey and we camped, and the weather was not 100%. Anyway, so we had a brilliant time. So what I'm tasting is this one, the Talisker 10 years, which I bought this bottle some time ago. So, but it doesn't change. It's always the same, and it's I think it's a nearly perfect whiskey. It's quite challenging. You don't want to start your friends on it if they're not Scotch drinkers. But people who know some Scotch and who habituated Scotch drinkers might well really enjoy that. Which is to say, it's quite peaty. It's not the peatiest whiskey, but it's pretty peaty. It has a lot of strong, complex flavors. It doesn't have a really dark color. Looking at this on the screen, that you can't really tell. But so if I compare the two bottles, this is the regular Talisker. This one, you can kind of see through that. And this is the Dark Storm, which is more like the way dark whiskies go. And you can see this is much darker. So it's not really dark whiskey. In terms of, I just add a tiny bit of water to open it up, as they say. Just like a drop like that. What else can I say from the bottle? It's 45.8% alcohol by volume, aged 10 years. There's lots of chat about Skye, the way whiskey manufacturers like to put on there. There's nothing. It's kind of quite a fairly traditional label, not too fancy. No like photographic artwork, anything like that. These are my Dave Giles whiskey glasses, by the way, which obtain from a merch vendor near you. or by post, I guess, from Dave, essentially. Anyway, so on the nose already, sort of before I'm getting my nose in it, I'm getting a lot of smoke, phenols, kind of seaweedy. It's not medicinal. I would not say it's at all medicinal. Some whiskies, they smell a bit like TCP or some sort of antiseptic. It doesn't do that. It's richer than that, warmer. That's definitely a lot warmer on the nose. Oh, yeah. It's. I've been drinking this whiskey for so long, like 30 years now, maybe like 31, 32. It's an old friend. As I say, I don't drink a lot of it. I don't drink it very often, but it's always very special to come back to. I wouldn't. It has a very strong nose. I mean, I wouldn't like stick my nose in and take a massive draft of the odor because I'll cough. It'll make me, it's quite a strong smell. Cheers. A lot of people drink whiskey with things in, and when I was a dissolute teenager, maybe I did some of that, but I don't understand it because the flavours of whiskey a lot of them are delicate. They're strong, but they're complex, and all that complexity gets ruined if you put anything in it. Even if you put ice in it, that sort of deadens it because, like, it stops when it's cold. It doesn't. I guess it's not. It doesn't evaporate as much. So the smells, a lot of the odors go, and a lot of taste, as you doubtless know, is produced by the smells and by the vapors it creates when it gets in your mouth and warms up. Sometimes if it's cold, I'll often warm my whiskey in my hands like this, so like just to wake it up that bit more. But as I say, I don't take some whiskies which don't have such a strong nose. I'll really get my nose in there and because it's such a delight. But not with Talisker or Lagavulin or Lefroy even, because they're too much for me, for my delicate senses. It's such delight. It's so much pleasure to a good familiar whiskey. It's smashing. So anyway, in we go. Also, I don't understand people who do whiskey shots. It's not something. I'm not very interested in doing any kind of shots. I don't see the point of like putting something in my mouth just to get rid of it, to choke it back, so to speak. Maybe in some circumstances, certainly not whiskey. If you don't enjoy drinking whiskey, really enjoy it, then drink something else. Drink something you do like drinking. Heaven's sake. So yeah, on the tongue, as it were, in the mouth. It's not acrid. It's not doesn't burn. Certainly not if you've put a little bit of water in it. It works its way all around the tongue. It's quite salty, which I think just means it kind of, there's no salt in it. I think it means it activates that part of the tongue. It stimulates somehow that part of the tongue that tastes salt. As I say, it's not actual, but it does taste quite salty. And I love the sea, of course. All of the whiskies that I love the most are all from islands, and they all taste of or smell of, are redolent of the sea and the seaweed and the salt and all these other words. Beaches, tar. People say, and there are like phenols in whiskey from the barrels. So it's not actually tar, but the smell of tar and the smell of some kind of beachy seaside smells are quite similar. And it's not just because there are tarry things at the sea, like boats with tar, old wooden boats. Anyway, God, I do love wittering on. Whiskey loosens the tongue, definitely. What to say about it? Yeah, it's quite salty. It has quite a sweet finish. I don't really find much fruit in whiskey. Some people are like, oh yeah, blackcurrants, and I don't get it. I find that definitely in wine, red wine. Lots of different kinds of fruit in red wine, or beer. Like pineapple or whatever. All of that. Whiskey doesn't do that for me. It's a whole complex of other tastes. Tastes to me something I don't eat anymore, which is barbecued meat. So like a charred, not like black really, but meat that's been on a really hot grill or really hot barbecue for long enough to really sear. So seared meat, I suppose, or you get the same effect with bacon, something like that. I don't know what that makes. Some burning. It's probably carcinogenic. They say that meat that's been over grilled is carcinogenic. So who knows? Maybe the same whiskey. Anyway, there's a lot of that. Whatever that does to my mouth did when I ate it. Whiskey has a very similar kind of a feel and a after effect. Speaking of after effects, it's like a long. You don't have to keep at this all the time to keep enjoying it. I'm enjoying right now. I'm still enjoying that last sip that I had. The feel of it in my mouth and in my throat. As I said, it doesn't burn. It's got what's that? It's got leafy, kind of like a foresty, like a forest floor sort of. Like I don't know. Imagine like forest mushrooms or something like that. So something that's quite pungenty woodland, not like fresh wheat, grassland sort of flavours. These are definitely woodland flavours. Some people say they get the smell that rain makes called petrichor. They get some of that from whiskey. Again, that's not me, but you might. What else? It's my favourite whiskey. Maybe it's my second favourite. Right now it's my favourite whiskey because it's the one I've got in my hand. I think probably it's my second favourite. But on the other hand, I don't think I have any other distillery where I've got 4 different expressions in opened bottles. So that says something. Maybe a Bamor. I've probably got like 3 different Bamors opened. God, I sound like such an alky. I hardly drink any whiskey, is the truth. It's not an everyday drink for me, but it's absolutely a special occasion drink, and Talisker is a special occasion drink. If you've got several of your mates who enjoy whiskey, when we're out of this, you can get together in your home, which we're still not allowed to do, for a nice, they've come round for a party or something. Just before you send them on their way, it's the non-drivers. Spend like 20 minutes enjoying a nice glass of Talisker in a Dave Giles glass before you send them on their way. If they're not whiskey drinkers, there are lots of other things which are special to individual people, but to every whiskey drinker I know, probably Talisker is special. It's not like an everyday whiskey. It's a special whiskey. I keep repeating myself now, so I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna finish this whiskey, and then I think I might have one of these. Which one? I think the Dark Storm. I'm feeling it's a dark and stormy night for me. All right. Okay. Love you, Dave. Take care. Have fun with the rest of the podcast.